Immigration. This is one of the biggest issues in the world. Japan is not so positive for immigration, but recently the Japanese government started discussing over accepting more immigrants or not. There are only 2% of foreign origin people in Japan right now. This number is lower than other developed countries. Nowadays, Japan's birth rate is declining, and the number of elderlies are increasing. If Japan accepts more immigrants, Japanese birth rate is included and Japanese population is also restored to well condition.
Many European countries had started accepting immigrants to increase the labor force and the birth rate much earlier than Japan and have become or becoming a multinational country. According to the research, nearly one-third of the immigrants are from Europe, like Turkey, Romania, and so on. Since the start of the civil war in Syria, many refugees from the Middle East are coming into European countries. Some Islamic fundamentalists and extremists slips in, or Muslim refugees and immigrants take sides with those fundamental thoughts and commit a jihad. On 13th of November last year, there was a terror attack committed by an immigrant origin Belgian. Also on 10th of January this year, there was a big protest march in Cologne in Germany. They claimed that there were many criminals committed by immigrants, including those who are illegal ones. Aside from whether or not the number of criminals is increasing because of immigrants, it is true that many citizens in European countries are having some negative impression towards the immigrants.
In Singapore, they have accepted many immigrants because the birth rate of Singapore has been on the decrease. The government of Singapore has set systems for foreign workers. The government have imposed employment taxes on foreign workers, so the companies which hire foreign workers have to pay the taxes of them per month. And also the government decides the rate of foreign workers who the companies can hire. In addition, many kinds of visa for foreign workers are in Singapore. It is different depending on the job or the salary. The government also decides whether to permit issue of visa or not. Thanks to these systems, the immigration policy succeeded in Singapore.
There are already many problems in Japan. Discrimination against non-Japanese people is one of the most serious problems in Japan. Most of them have been discriminatorily treated by Japanese people in their daily life. For instance, we can see some discriminatory posters or billboards which is likely to reject them according to the stereotypes. Moreover, this problem relates to their working conditions, salary, and many other things. However, in some places, we can also see international science for non-Japanese people, and it has been rapidly extending these days.
Japan is under pressure to accept more immigrants as the labor force, and the birth rate is shrinking right now. Also, one of the UN executives suggested Tokyo to resettle people suffering from conflict in Syria and Iraq, so Japan have to consider about it as well. However, Japan is not ready yet for accepting, but Japan can change. In some countries like Germany, are having some problems, and all countries are curious about how Germany changes their policy. Also, Singapore has very strict regulations for immigrants and have succeeded. Just following what other countries have done may lead Japan to a failure. What Japan needs to do now is to research many countries and make a concrete system for immigrants before accepting.